There is a silent war happening inside most people. Not outside, inside. Most people wake up and immediately surrender their mind. The alarm rings. The hand reaches for the phone. Messages, notifications, news noise. Before the body is fully awake, the mind is already scattered. You have not chosen your thoughts. They have been chosen for you. Morning stillness is the refusal to begin your day this way. When you wake up, do not rush. Do not speak immediately. Do not check anything. Sit on the edge of your bed or on the floor. Keep your spine upright. Let your hands rest gently. Close your eyes if it helps you withdraw from distraction. Then breathe. Not in a dramatic way. Just natural breathing. Observe the inhale. Observe the exhale. Feel the cool air enter, the warm air leave. Notice how the chest rises and falls without effort. This simple awareness pulls your attention away from yesterday's unfinished problems and tomorrow's imagined fears. In the beginning, your mind will resist. Thoughts will appear quickly. Plans, worries, random memories. Do not fight them. Fighting thoughts is another form of thinking. Instead, notice them like clouds passing across the sky. You are not chasing them. You are not holding them. You are simply watching. This is how you begin to train the mind. Morning stillness is not about emptying the mind. It is about strengthening your ability to return. Each time you notice you are lost in thought and gently bring your attention back to the breath, you are building mental strength. It is a repetition. Just like lifting a weight strengthens a muscle, returning to the breath strengthens awareness. Why is this important? Because the quality of your morning determines the quality of your day. If you begin in chaos, you carry chaos. If you begin in control, you carry control. A calm morning creates space between stimulus and response. When something unexpected happens later, you will not react immediately. You will pause. That pause is power. Even 5 to 10 minutes is enough to begin. Consistency matters more than duration. It is better to sit for 5 minutes every day than for 30 minutes once a week. The mind respects routine. When you show up every morning, even when you do not feel like it, you teach yourself that discipline is stronger than mood. Morning stillness also creates clarity. In silence, you begin to see what truly matters. Many worries lose their intensity when observed calmly. Many problems become smaller when not fed by panic. In quiet awareness, your priorities naturally rise to the surface. You do not force focus, it reveals itself. This practice is simple, but not easy. The world trains you to seek stimulation. Stillness feels uncomfortable at first because you are meeting yourself without distraction, but that discomfort is temporary. Beyond it is stability. When you sit each morning, you are not escaping life, you are preparing for it. You are sharpening your awareness before stepping into responsibility. You are choosing to lead your mind instead of being dragged by it. And slowly, over days and weeks, you will notice something subtle. Your thoughts slow down. Your reactions soften. Your breathing becomes deeper even during stress. The mind that once felt restless begins to feel grounded. All of this begins with one decision made each morning: to sit, to breathe, and to remain present before the world begins pulling at your attention. Discipline is often misunderstood. People think discipline is harsh, restrictive, or exhausting. They think it requires extreme effort, constant intensity, or endless motivation. But true discipline is quiet, it is stable. It does not shout. It does not depend on emotion. It is simply a decision repeated daily. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act. They say, "I'll start when I feel ready." But the mind rarely feels ready for difficult things. It prefers comfort. It prefers distraction. It prefers what is easy now over what is meaningful later. If you build your life around motivation, your progress will always rise and fall with your mood. A calm and productive mind cannot be built on unstable energy. Discipline begins with clarity. You must know what needs to be done, not what you feel like doing, not what others expect from you. What truly matters. Once this is clear, the question is no longer, do I want to do this today? The question becomes, will I honor my commitment today? This shift changes everything. When you wake up and follow a structured routine, you reduce internal negotiation. You do not debate with yourself about whether to work, exercise, or focus. You simply act. Every time you argue with yourself, you drain mental energy. Every time you hesitate, you weaken your authority over your own mind. Discipline removes hesitation. It is easier to follow a rule than to make a new decision every day. If you decide that you will begin work at a certain time, then that time becomes non-negotiable. The mind learns that excuses are not entertained. Over time, resistance decreases because the mind understands that complaining changes nothing. There is peace in this structure. Many people think freedom means doing whatever you feel like doing. But constant choice creates anxiety. When there is no structure, the mind becomes chaotic. It jumps from task to task, from distraction to distraction, leaving everything half-finished. This creates guilt. Guilt creates stress. Stress creates mental noise. Discipline simplifies your day. You assign specific times for work, rest, exercise, and reflection. When it is time to work, you work. When it is time to rest, you rest fully without guilt because you have earned it. This rhythm creates balance. The mind relaxes when it knows there is order. Small disciplined actions matter more than dramatic efforts. Making your bed carefully in the morning is not about the bed. It is about precision. It is about starting the day with completion. Cleaning your workspace is not about appearance. It is about respecting your environment. Finishing a task before moving to the next trains your focus. Each small action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Discipline also means doing what is necessary even when you do not feel strong. There will be days when your energy is low, days when your mind feels foggy, days when distractions feel louder than usual. On these days, discipline does not demand perfection. It demands presence. You still show up. You still do the essential work, even if it is slower than usual. This builds self-trust. Self-trust is one of the foundations of a calm mind. When you consistently keep promises to yourself, your confidence becomes internal. You no longer rely on external validation. You know that when something needs to be done, you will do it. That certainty reduces anxiety about the future. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about alignment. If your actions do not align with your goals, your mind feels divided. Division creates tension. When your daily habits align with your deeper intentions, the mind becomes steady. You are no longer pulled in opposite directions. Another aspect of discipline is limiting distractions. Productivity is not about doing more things. It is about doing the right things without interruption. This requires boundaries. You cannot expect focus if you allow constant notifications, endless scrolling, and unnecessary conversations to invade your time. Protect your attention. Attention is your most valuable resource. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. Discipline teaches you to choose where that energy is placed. Instead of reacting to every message or impulse, you decide when and how you will respond. This restores control. There is also discipline in rest. Many people either overwork themselves or waste their free time unconsciously. True discipline includes intentional recovery. Sleep at a consistent time. Step away from work when it is time to recharge. Rest is not weakness. It is preparation. When discipline becomes part of your identity, you no longer experience it as effort. It becomes natural. Just as brushing your teeth requires no emotional debate, your productive habits become automatic. This automation frees mental space. You think less about what to do and focus more on how to do it well. Over time, something subtle happens. The mind becomes quieter. There are fewer internal arguments, less guilt, less procrastination. You begin to experience momentum. And momentum creates calm confidence. You realize that you do not need to feel inspired to move forward. You only need to take the next step, then the next, then the next. This steady movement is stronger than bursts of intensity followed by long pauses. It may not look dramatic from the outside, but inside, it builds unshakable stability. Discipline is choosing long-term peace over short-term comfort. It is choosing clarity over chaos. It is choosing commitment over excuses. And every day that you honor it, your mind becomes more reliable, more focused, and more at ease within itself. The way you speak to yourself shapes the way you experience your life. Most people are not disturbed by events. They are disturbed by their interpretation of events. A small mistake happens, and the mind says, "I always fail." A delay occurs, and the mind whispers, "Nothing ever works for me." These thoughts appear quickly, automatically, and if you are not aware, you begin to believe them. Controlling your inner dialogue does not mean suppressing thoughts. It means becoming conscious of them. There is a voice inside you that comments on everything. It judges, compares, predicts, criticizes. For many, this voice has been running unchecked for years. It repeats patterns learned from past experiences, fears, and insecurities. If you never question it, it becomes your identity. But you are not that voice. You are the one who hears it. When something challenging happens, pause. Before reacting externally, observe internally. What is the first thought that arises? Is it helpful? Is it accurate? Or is it exaggerated and emotional? A calm and productive mind learns to interrupt negative spirals early. If you catch the thought at its beginning, you prevent it from growing. For example, instead of allowing, "I can't handle this," to expand into anxiety, you gently replace it with, "This is difficult, but I will handle it step by step." The situation may not change, but your state does. Language matters. The words you use internally influence your nervous system. Harsh self-talk creates tension. Supportive self-talk creates stability. Imagine speaking to yourself the way you would guide a close friend, firm but understanding, honest but not cruel. This practice requires awareness throughout the day. Notice when you label yourself negatively. Notice when you assume the worst outcome. Notice when you replay past mistakes repeatedly. Each time you notice, you weaken the old pattern. Over time, your inner dialogue becomes more measured. Instead of reacting with extremes, you respond with balance. Instead of blaming yourself for every setback, you analyze and adjust. Instead of dramatizing small obstacles, you focus on solutions. A productive mind is not free from doubt or fear. It simply refuses to let those thoughts dominate. It chooses perspective. It chooses constructive language. It chooses calm reasoning over emotional exaggeration. When you master your inner dialogue, you master your emotional direction. The modern mind is constantly divided. You begin one task, then a notification appears. You open a message, then remember another responsibility. You attempt to focus, but your thoughts drift towards something unfinished. By the end of the day, you feel exhausted, not because you worked deeply, but because your attention was pulled in too many directions. A calm and productive mind learns to focus on one thing at a time. This sounds simple, but it requires discipline. The mind enjoys variety. It seeks stimulation. Switching between tasks gives the illusion of productivity, but in reality, it fragments your attention. Each time you move from one activity to another, your brain must readjust. This adjustment consumes energy. Over time, This constant shifting creates mental fatigue. When you focus on one task fully, something different happens. Your breathing steadies. Your movements become deliberate. Your awareness narrows in a healthy way. You begin to notice details you would otherwise miss. Time feels different, sometimes slower, sometimes faster, but always more intentional. Single tasking is a form of meditation in action. When you work, only work. Remove unnecessary taps. Silence notifications. Place your phone out of reach. Decide clearly what you will complete. And give yourself to that task without dividing your attention. If distractions arise internally, random thoughts, memories, worries, acknowledge them briefly and return to what is in front of you. Each return strengthens concentration. The same principle applies outside of work. When you eat, just eat. Taste the food. Chew slowly. When you speak to someone, truly listen instead of planning your next response. When you exercise, feel each movement instead of rushing through it. This level of presence transforms ordinary activities into grounding practices. A scattered mind often feels anxious because it is never fully anywhere. It is always thinking about what comes next. But when you are fully engaged in the current task, the mind has no space to wander unnecessarily. There is clarity in simplicity. Focusing on one thing also improves the quality of your work. Depth replaces surface level effort. Instead of doing many things poorly, you complete fewer things well. Completion brings satisfaction. Satisfaction builds momentum. Momentum reinforces calm confidence. It is important to accept that focus will not be perfect. The mind will wander. That is natural. The goal is not rigid concentration, but gentle persistence. Notice the distraction. Return again, and again, and again. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to stay present even in challenging situations. In conversations, during pressure, in moments of stress, your attention remains steady instead of scattered. When you train yourself to focus on one thing at a time, you reclaim your attention from the noise around you. And attention, when directed intentionally, becomes one of your greatest sources of peace and productivity. The way you end your day determines how you begin the next one. Most people close their day the same way they lived it, distracted, overstimulated, and mentally scattered. They fall into bed with unfinished thoughts, unresolved emotions, and a mind still racing. Sleep becomes shallow because the mind has not been given permission to rest. Evening reflection is the act of clearing your internal space before darkness settles. Before you sleep, sit quietly for a few minutes. No phone, no noise, no external input. Allow the day to replay gently in your awareness, not to criticize yourself, not to relive every detail, simply to observe. Ask yourself, where was I calm today? When did I lose control? When did I act with clarity? When did I react impulsively? This is not self-judgment. It is self-study. Without reflection, mistakes repeat automatically. Patterns continue unnoticed. But when you review your actions consciously, you begin to see connections. You recognize triggers. You understand which environments drain you and which habits strengthen you. Awareness creates choice. Choice creates change. A calm mind grows through honest observation. If you notice a moment where you reacted with anger or impatience, do not condemn yourself. Instead, examine it. What thought appeared before the reaction? What expectation was not met? What belief was challenged? By understanding the root, you prepare yourself to respond differently next time. Reflection also allows you to acknowledge progress. Many people focus only on what they did wrong, but growth requires balance. Recognize where you remain disciplined. Notice when you stayed focused. Appreciate moments where you chose calm over chaos. This builds confidence in your ability to improve. Evening reflection lightens emotional weight. Unspoken frustrations, small disappointments, and silent worries accumulate if ignored. When you sit quietly and allow yourself to feel them briefly, they lose intensity. Suppressed emotions create tension in the body and noise in the mind. Observed emotions soften naturally. You may also prepare your mind for tomorrow. Identify 1 or 2 priorities for the next day. Keep it simple. Clarity before sleep reduces morning confusion. When you wake up, you already know where your attention should go. This removes hesitation and protects your focus. It is important that reflection remains short and intentional. 5 to 10 minutes is enough. The purpose is clarity, not overthinking. If you find yourself analyzing excessively, return to your breath. Keep the practice grounded. Over time, this habit strengthens self-awareness. You begin to live your days more consciously because you know you will review them later. Your actions become more deliberate. Your reactions become less automatic. The mind, when given space to process, becomes lighter. The body relaxes more deeply. Sleep becomes restorative instead of restless. By ending your day with awareness instead of distraction, you create a mental reset. You allow yesterday to remain in the past, rather than carrying it unconsciously into tomorrow. A calm and productive mind is not built in moments of intensity. It is built in moments of intention. It is built in the quiet morning when you choose stillness over noise. It is built when you follow discipline instead of waiting for motivation. It is built when you correct your inner dialogue instead of believing every thought. It is built when you focus fully on one task instead of scattering your attention. And it is built at night when you reflect instead of escaping into distraction. None of these habits are dramatic. None of them require special talent. They require consistency. They require awareness. They require the courage to face yourself without excuses. Understand this clearly. Peace is not found by removing all problems from your life. Productivity is not achieved by doing more and more. True calm comes from inner order. True productivity comes from directed energy. When your mornings are intentional, your actions disciplined, your thoughts observed, your focus protected, and your evenings reflective, your mind begins to trust you. And when the mind trusts you, it becomes steady. The world may remain noisy. Demands will continue. Challenges will arise, but you will no longer be easily shaken. You will move through your responsibilities with clarity instead of confusion, with presence instead of pressure. Start small. Start tomorrow morning. Sit for a few minutes in silence. Follow through on one commitment. Notice one thought. Complete one task with full attention. Reflect before you sleep. Repeat. In time, you will not only become more productive, you will become more centered. And from that center, everything you do will carry a different quality. A quieter strength, a deeper focus, a calm that is not fragile, but trained. This is how a peaceful mind is created, not by chance, but by daily choice.